Hey guys, today's video, we received a package for repairs. So we have a couple of, and I'm gonna put that out of the way, but we have a couple of Viper Alky funny cars. So one of them is labeled custom, which I'm not sure. The other is labeled Alky, but they are supposed to be the same car. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at them to just determine, and the customer had reported that they're not running the same. So we're gonna look them over and we will do some testing on them to see if we can find anything wrong with them. At first glance, they definitely are the same car, same spec. So there's, there could be something wrong with one of them, but we're gonna dive into them. First thing I notice, always really dirty tires. I mean, so on this thing, aside from the normal stuff, which, the normal stuff being that all of the parts and whatnot are the same. It is kind of weird that the magnets are marked the way that they're marked, because that is not something that I do here. That red on there, we do not do that here. That is not one of our markings. Even that one is questionable, so that's kind of strange. It doesn't mean much, it's just a mark, but that could mean that somebody has tampered with them, or these could be counterfeit cars because there is no labels on these either. Obviously it's Viper bag, but that doesn't mean anything because it's a resealable bag. So either way, we'll figure out what the deal is. This car here, just kind of right off the cuff, the gear is a little bit tight. The gear boss. So we're gonna fix that real quick because there's no, I'm not even gonna bother running these. I'm literally just gonna prep these cars to the point where I feel like they should run the same, and we're gonna go run them, and if they run the same, then they're gonna get sent back to the customer. So, but it feels okay now. Freaking tires are disgusting, but I'm gonna oil this thing. I mean, it's got a lot of, it's obviously that it's been run, so it's really hard to say how much it's been run. Who knows if it's been run on the drag strip or if it's been run on a road course. Just because it has a funny car body is not going to stop someone from running it on a road course. So we'll clean the tires once we get out there. I'm just going to do all my normal stuff to these things. You guys have seen me do this stuff a gazillion times now. Oil, voodoo, clean the shoes. We'll run it real quick. It sounds fine. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's laboring or anything like that, so don't expect it to not run the way that it should. So we'll set that one aside. Now we're gonna look at the white one, which this one, I don't know which of these is the one that is problematic, but we'll figure that out once we run it on the track, because it will, if it is, it will definitely show itself at that point. So both cars look fine. The pickup shoe wear tells me that they haven't really been run that much. But they're pretty damn dirty, so it's kind of, who knows what caused that. Yeah, dirt made them dirty. Dang. Dun, 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 dun. Captain Obvious. Okay, so that one sounds fine also. Do a quick shoe clean, and then we're gonna go out to the track and see what the track says. One thing I am gonna check real quick is just make sure spring tension feels okay. I mean, sometimes it's possible if on a Tommy track or on a sectional, if you don't have adequate power and the car stops somewhere and you're on the throttle, usually what happens is it might not have enough power to turn, but usually because the spring is transferring that electricity, it'll actually collapse the spring and it might melt it, which I think I have one of those in here. Yeah, so this is what happens right there. And if you put a shoe on that car, obviously the shoe would just be flopping around. So this was on, that car lasted like 2.5 years out on our test track out front. So that could happen on these. I've seen it happen, but that's why you always check shoe tension, make sure that it feels the same. So let's go back to the track. We'll clean the tires and give them a rip. All right, guys, we're gonna clean these tires up. You know that we're fanatics about clean tires here.
Such an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally get lint roller at checkout at Walmart or anywhere else. So track is ready to rip. We're just gonna let these guys run. That one is not staging, which means it needs, I don't think I have that label out here anymore, but I'm gonna pull the body off of it so that I can stage it. You guys have seen before, if the funny car doesn't stage, and it usually is the red ones, then I'll put a little label up there just because the paint's pretty transparent. But we're gonna run these things right now. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we ran a 482 and a 450. So pretty close. These aren't meant to be bracket cars. They are very, very close. So the right lane took the win on that one. The left lane was just a smidge slower. So what I'm gonna do, it actually, I mean, just for the heck of it, we'll take the body off of both of them. Put that one back in the left lane. Same lanes. I'm gonna write this up here real quick. So we have left. The right lane was the red, and this one was the white. So left lane ran 482, right lane 450. So honestly, this is not a big enough difference for me to justify sending the cars, but they could have run different than that when we first got them. And I know you're probably saying, you should have run them, you should have run them. Well, the reason I didn't run them is because what we did to these cars, you should be doing that after you run your cars anyways. You should not let the tires be getting dirty. You should not running dirty cars down the track. Like, I don't care if that was your standard, change your standards, okay? So we're gonna run them again, both with no bodies. Okay, so pretty close to the same. So right lane that time ran 441, left lane 489. Okay, so right lane is still outperforming it, but they are pretty dang consistently the same. So let's just see with a timing adjustment. And a lot of that too, that really could just be the car needs to be broken in more. You know, like these cars aren't actually broken in completely. So there is still some left on the table there, but let's just see what happens with a timing adjustment. I actually think I adjusted the wrong car right there. I adjusted the right lane to make it faster. Yeah. So 447, but it's pretty much living right there in the 440s to 450s. This car slowed down, 501. So we'll run a couple more and just see if that car does continue to slow down. Maybe that's what it was that they're talking about, that it wasn't consistent. And that's just really, to me, that's a sign that the car needs to be broken in more. So let's give them a go. Okay, so 448 and a 490, so it's pretty much staying there. 448. So what we can do is we will take this guy, we'll go up, we'll leave this one out here, and we'll basically just go run this thing on the run stand. I'll probably pull the motor out and check the in bell to just see if it needs to be broken in some more. So let's head up there. Okay guys, got the car here. We are going to just pop this thing apart real quick. Pull the motor out, and I'm gonna grab just the tools that I will need. Frick. Hold on, I gotta go grab something that someone didn't put back. I found it. So that's our break-in tool. I am working on getting more of those made, so before you guys ask about them, because it is an essential part of building a fast, consistent car. We only do it on certain production cars, typically stuff that's more like full-on race car. But yeah, so these brushes are barely, if you look in there, they're barely starting to break in. I mean, we barely have a small hourglass going. So we're gonna fix that right now. You can do this by hand if you like stretching your day out, or you can do it with a tool. I'm gonna choose to do it with the Dremel tool. Also too, if you've ever done this before, or if you go to use a Dremel tool, you gotta make sure that you're keeping it as straight as possible. I've done friggin' tens of thousands of these things, so I have a pretty good feel for it, but you definitely can cock this thing sideways, and you don't wanna do that, okay? So that's all that it takes, a couple seconds. We'll look again. All right, so now if you look at the brush, we have pretty much 95 to 98% brush wrap, which typically that's where I go to. I don't usually go too far beyond that unless I'm building myself something. And the reason that I do that is if I'm building myself something and I only use it once, and the end bell, I wear more of the brushes in that process than I normally would. I don't really care, but that's not a perk that a lot of you guys have. You don't have unlimited resources on that stuff. And two, I mean, I don't do it to like be wasteful, but I just usually go, 90 to 95% on stuff that we build. And that way, if there is any variation between anything, it can wear itself in. So I'm gonna just put this thing back together really quick. Okay, and since we ran the tool in there, I'm gonna just put a little bit of oil on there. Man, my throat. I got island throat still. Why? Okay, so just run it, 5 volts. So amperage is at 0.23, pretty normal for these. If it wasn't broken in, it probably would have been higher, and you'd be watching it come down until it stabilizes. A lot of people say, how do I know when it's broken in? And I usually tell them it's when you got full brush wrap, which is a visual thing. If you're running it on a run stand with a voltmeter, you can watch that amp draw drop. So we're at 0.21 now, so that just means that things warming up, it's getting more and more efficient as it runs here, which there is a flip side of that. If it got too hot or there was too much load, like if I put the rear axle under load, you can see that number go up. So if it got too hot, then the efficiency starts to tank and goes away, but it's getting up to operating temperature here. So let's go run it and find out what happens. Okay guys, we're back. The car that we just broke in is down. Clean these tires. Both cars are staged. It's most likely going to be faster than the other one now, but we're just, you know, you guys are riding along with us, so let's go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it wasn't quite faster. It did run more mile an hour, but we did drop off a couple of hundreds. So ran a 470 to the 447. The other car is pretty much living right there in its, you know, 447 range. So I would say that cars are close enough and it's up to the driver. I mean, I could have checked the tires. That's one thing that I didn't check. But I'm not gonna spend a lot more time on this thing. You know, I mean, we could run another pass just for the heck of it and swap lanes this time. So we are swapping lanes. And honestly, if I get the cars mixed up and they're running the same, I don't really care at this point because that's why they got sent back. But let's swap lanes and see what happens. Okay, so that time, that car still ran more mile an hour, which is evidence of the brushes being broken in